Anybody who thinks that this election went well, like that idiot Krebs, who used to be the head of cybersecurity.
Oh, yeah, the guy that was on 60 Minutes last night.
That guy is a Class A moron. He should be drawn and quartered, taken out at dawn and shot.
That voice was Joe diGenova, a Georgetown Law School educated, formerly reputable U.S. attorney turned Trump lawyer and conspiracy theorist. Earlier today, that former cybersecurity chief, Chris Krebs, responded to those comments by diGenova.
It's certainly more dangerous language, more dangerous behavior. And the way I look at it is that we're a nation of laws, and I plan to take advantage of those laws. I've got an exceptional team of lawyers that win in court, and I think they're probably going to be busy.
In a statement today, diGenova claimed he was just joking. Quote, "It was obvious that my remarks were sarcastic and made in jest. I, of course, wish Mr. Krebs no harm." And in Georgia, a top election official is speaking out with genuine emotion and anger after a voting system contractor there received death threats.
It has to stop. Mr. President, you have not condemned these actions or this language. Senators, you have not condemned this language or these actions. This has to stop. We need you to step up, and if you're going to take a position of leadership, show some.
After those remarks, both Senators Perdue and Loeffler released statements condemning violence. The Trump campaign put out a statement on their part that reads in part, quote, "No one should engage in threats or violence, and if that has happened, we condemn that fully." Back tonight, two of our returning veterans, Jason Johnson, a campaign veteran, journalist, contributor to the Grio, and a professor of politics at Morgan State University. Go Bears. And Tim Miller, he's a contributor to The Bulwark, former communications director for Jeb Bush, and a former top advisor to the anti-Trump PAC, Our Principles. Gentlemen, and I mean gentlemen, welcome to you both. Tim, I'd like to begin with you. The name Joseph Nye Welch comes to mind. The man who stopped the McCarthy hearings cold by saying, "Have you no sense of decency, sir, at long last?" Sometimes the times call for one person to step forward. Maybe it's going to be that election official in Georgia. But, Tim, do you have genuine worries now about violence of people tangentially connected to the Trump movement, not acting on anyone's request or behest, but taking it out on innocent, genuine public servants?
Absolutely. I don't know why you wouldn't. It would only take, one radicalized Trump supporter to decide they want to take this in their own hands. And look, the diGenova story came because at the Bulwark, I was watching a full day of Newsmax to try to understand what these Trump voters are being sold. And for 24 hours, all day, every day, they're being told that this election is being stolen from them, that the left is stealing the country from them, that we are no longer a democracy. And so it wouldn't be surprising for one person after having to listen to that propaganda all day, every day, that they might decide to take matters into their own hands. When the president's own lawyer says that somebody should be drawn and quartered, taken down and shot. I mean, Brian, you'll tell a joke every now and then. I don't understand what the joke is there. I don't understand what the punchline is when you're threatening somebody for speaking truth, a public servant for coming out and speaking truth at risk to themselves. So I think that there's a lot of reason to be concerned about genuine safety. And I think that if hopefully we get through the next 55 days without it, that does not excuse any of the actions of Trump and all of the enablers.
And Jason, you and I have had this discussion many times. So much of this is done with impunity, as if no one's watching. The rule book's been thrown out the window on these rumored pardons alone. Jason, you've read social media, you've heard the rumors, everybody from Tiger King to Ghislaine Maxwell to Rudy to the president's kids. And do you think a major name Republican will say a peep in that instance?
No, Brian. And this is This is the chickens coming home to roost, right? This is what this administration has always been about. It's always been about fomenting violence. It's always been about warping the law to the personal needs and desires of the President of the United States. He will attempt to, if there's one thing that we know that drove Donald Trump in all of his Supreme Court nominations, it was the idea that down the road he would eventually not just pardon his family, not just pardon Flynn, possibly Manafort, but that he would try to pardon himself in the hopes that he could have enough justice on the Supreme Court that allowed him to get away with it. So I don't know why anybody is shocked. I don't know why anybody expects the Republicans who have sat back and allowed this to happen would be shocked. But I will say this, the danger, and we're seeing this in Georgia, up until 30 days ago, red state, where you've got Republicans in almost every single statewide office, and they're now the victims of this. They have created this problem, and now getting all of these Trump extremists back together is like herding drunk cats. You're not going to be able to do it, and it's a problem they've created and that they don't say anything about until it blows up in their faces.
Tim, continuing on that theme, if the president blows through the last norm, if he doesn't invite the Bidens over, Joe Biden worked in that building for 8 years. He hardly needs a West Wing tour. If he doesn't show up at the inauguration as departing president, same question. Will any named Republicans make a peep?
The same five that are talking now, Mitt Romney, Adam Kinzinger, maybe you'll hear from a Liz Cheney. But it's almost like there's just so much serious stuff. I don't want to minimize that, Brian, because it'd be really sad. It'd be the first time in modern times that we'd not have an amicable and peaceful transition. But given the seriousness of these threats about stealing the election, I mean, the fact that none of these senators are speaking out when they're saying that there are dump trucks dumping in millions of votes, that the Venezuelans are changing votes. And these are absolutely insane allegations that go to the heart of our democracy, and they're not saying anything. So why would they not say anything if he's just rude to Joe Biden? Who knows if they'll say anything if he pardons his kids, as has been reported as possible by the New York Times. So, look, I think that all of these folks have made their deal with the devil. They understand that in order to survive right now in the Republican Party, unless you have an independent brand like Mitt Romney, you need to, at best, just be silent. And so that's what they're going to do.
Both of these gentlemen have agreed to stay with us as we fit in a break here coming up. Biden says help is on the way as he announces his economic team. A look at his picks thus far, what they might reveal when our discussion continues.